Cool. Hey, welcome everyone. We'll just get started, and I'll try to keep my remarks really short because I'm getting a lot of admit requests, and you'll hear the constant pinging, as you just heard. So, welcome to the first Glyphic webinar, also the first Tech for Dev webinar. It's really great to have so many people on the call, and we just wanted to demo our current work in progress. We are just at version 0.2. But we made some amazing progress, and we think that Glyphic will meet the needs for many NGOs really nicely. It's an open source tool, and the goal of Tech for Dev is to build and develop open source platforms, primarily for the NGO and social impact sector. And we are focused currently on India, but eventually we want to use our tools everywhere. I won't say too much. And I'll probably come back at the end and speak a bit more. And I'll let Abhishek kind of start the meeting and give a presentation of what Glyphic is all about, along with the agenda for the rest of the meeting. Abhishek, want to take it over?
Sure. So thank you all for joining us today. We'll go over, some of the use cases, what Glyphic does today, what it'll do in the future, why it makes sense, why it exists, some of the pros and cons, and then we'll open stage for question and answers, and some of the next steps. So let's quickly look back at why we are all here. And there's not much as belief, but some of the responses we receive from you all, that NGOs want to stay connected and engage with their stakeholders. They want to explore possibilities with technology for communication or content distribution. And for some of the people who already know a little bit about Glyphic, they want to know what are the practical uses and some of the next steps. And for these reasons, Glyphic is here. It is an answer to staying connected to stakeholders. And we'll, in the subsequent slides, we'll figure out how. So in a very quick note, Glyphic is a WhatsApp-based communication platform for NGOs to have conversation with their community. Some of the things that we don't really know right now is are some of the pros and cons, which we'll cover towards the end of the presentation. So we'll walk you through, some of the deeper insights on using WhatsApp through Glyphic. So many of you must have noticed during COVID period that you wanted to stay connected with your beneficiaries to continue running your program smoothly through online channels. To keep delivering your content, and keep having the conversations at personal level with beneficiaries, or to give them suggestions on COVID, get feedback, and in general you may want to improve programs, increase outreach, or scale up your activities. And this is an example where Glyphic comes in and helps us. We have been building Glyphic along with our NGO advisory group, which consists of some of these NGOs. And today we'll also take a look at a real use case, how Glyphic can, how WhatsApp can be used for communication. And we'll be hearing particularly from Dost. We have Pratik among us from Dost, who will be walking us through their use case and how they use WhatsApp to communicate with their beneficiaries and stakeholders. Following which we'll also see how Glyphic can be used in those use cases, how you all as NGO can adapt it for as a solution for your organization, and we'll move from here. So since I can't see on my screen, Pratik, do we have you? Shall I move it on to you?
Yeah.
All right. All right, Pratik.
Yeah. Hello everyone, I'm Pratik from Dost Education. We are an NGO working in India, and our goal is to make every child school ready. So how we do that? We work with low-income parents to help them take charge of their early childhood development. And so we enroll them in our program, and then they start receiving 1 to 2 minute idea calls from us. And every week is about a different area in their early childhood development. One can be like academics, one can be behavior, Some week can be about healthy eating. So we have different topics. So it's a 5 to 6 month long program covering many different areas in the early childhood development. Right? So we expect that parents would listen to those calls and then adopt the behaviors and strategies that we are suggesting, and then they would apply them with their kids, and they would be impactful. So this is mainly what we do. Akshay, can you move to the next slide?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why we are exploring WhatsApp? So it's because 65% of our current user base have smartphones. Even the ones who do not have smartphones, the next phone they are going to buy is going to be a smartphone. And in a smartphone, WhatsApp is the first app that they are learning. So many of our users are on WhatsApp, so we want to be where our users are. So that's why we started exploring WhatsApp and how we feel that WhatsApp can help us. So there are different areas. So one is increase in engagement, that because of WhatsApp, the parents should consume more content, and the other is better reporting and feedback. So because of WhatsApp, we hope that parents would give us more data about whether they have tried the activities, are they seeing the impact, if it is not working for them, do they need more help. So all those things we hope that we are able to achieve from WhatsApp. The third is on-demand or need-based support. So currently in the IVR system, it is very difficult for us to get parents' inputs that what topics they are interested in and schedule those topics accordingly. So we hope that it becomes simpler with WhatsApp, that parents can directly tell us what problems do they have or what issues are they interested in, and we can give them that content. And last is referrals and shareability. Since what's we feel it would be easy for on WhatsApp for parents to share our content in their network with other parents, and we will get more users from there. So these are the primary use cases we feel that WhatsApp can help us. And how WhatsApp can help us is first is rich media and also rich interface. So like IVR is limited to voice. WhatsApp gives us voice, photos, text, videos, many more, and also the other is high reachability and time flexibility. So on phone calls, if a user is busy, he will not pick up a phone call, he will miss it. We can retry, but we can only retry a few number of times. We cannot retry unlimited number of times. So that is why the idea has no reachability, and we hope that because of the time flexibility of WhatsApp, the reachability to our users will be higher. And third is two-way communication. So currently in IVR, it is very difficult for users to connect with us with WhatsApp. We hope that it would be solved. So Abhishek, can you move to the next slide? So this is one of our WhatsApp workflows. I will walk you through it and then tell you what was our thought process, what were we trying to achieve. So here in the first message, so it is basically a need-based content consumption workflow. The first message we are sending to users is a topic selection menu, in which we are saying, hey, these many parents have solved their problems using our WhatsApp. If you are also interested, here are a few topics that you might be interested in. So 4 topics are listed, and they can press 1, 2, 3 and respond to us. So if they respond to us, then they will get content for that topic. So if they have selected academics, they will get 4 or 5 videos related to academics. So currently we are sending YouTube videos to them, and they can click the links and see the videos on YouTube. After that, after sending the content, if the user is sending us an unexpected input like hello, okay, sometimes they just type out their problem and tell us, and our system currently is not able to recognize it. Then we send them a default message, and someone manually from our side checks it and replies to them in 24 hours. Then after 2 days of sending out content to them, we send them a nudge message, which is like, hey, we hope that you like the content, you are trying out the activities. Let us know that if you have any questions or problems, anything like that. So users can type their queries, users can record, users can do whatever, and someone from our side will respond to their queries. After that, after 3 weeks, after 3 days, we are sending them another prompt, which is for feedback. So have you tried the activity? So Abhishek, can you move to next slide?
Yeah.
So this is like a feedback prompt on the top. If So it just asks, have you tried the activity? Have you not tried the activity? You've seen the impact. You did not see the impact. You need more help. And user can again press 1, 2, 3 and let us know. So in that, if user responds like he needs more help, then someone from our team will schedule a live call or a live chat session with them to solve their problem more. And then we just repeat this cycle again in the next week. And they will keep getting options of selecting topic of their choice and tell us if that worked for them or not. So this is what our current basic workflow looks like. There is also a video in place that you can watch. Abhishek can share with you later.
Yeah.
You can watch this in action. So yeah, that was our basic workflow. Abhishek, can you move to the next slide? So what were we trying to do in this pilot? So we wanted to design an experience to give out content which is need-based uh, to our users on WhatsApp. And this is in addition to IVR program. So their IVR program is going on, but they can get the additional content in whatever problems they are facing on WhatsApp. And what were we expecting? We expected that this would lead to more content consumption from user. We expected that high reachability and rich experience would improve overall engagement. And we expected that it would lead to better reporting and feedback, that users actually telling us if they did the activity, saw the impact or not. Currently on IVR program, we do it using IVR prompts. That after the call, press 1, 2, 3 to tell us that data, and reachability is low on that. We expected it would go up with this experiment. And how we designed this pilot? So we piloted this with 250 of our users. The time period was 6 weeks, and the key metrics that we were seeing was the percent of users who are reachable on WhatsApp, the percent of users who are getting weekly activated, so weekly activated users, that is, they're demanding content, then the percent of users who are reporting that they have done or not done, who are just telling that if they have done the activity or not, and if they need more help. And the last was the percent of content consumed. So these were all the metrics we saw. And so yeah, that was the pilot. Can you move to the next slide, Abhishek? So yeah, the learnings and surprises about this pilot and also from some few pilots we did before. So the first major learning is we cannot send out content passively to them. If we just send out content passively, they are not going to see it. The engagement is very, very low. But at the same time, we cannot rely on users to reach out to us directly. If we do not do anything and we just expect that users will message himself whenever he wants us, that is not going to happen. So we figured that we will need a mix of both of these to actually make the user engaged. And that's why we created this workflow in which we are giving users to prompt to select topics of his choice. We are not sending out content directly, but we are not leaving it to users that he will message us first. So that is one learning. Other was in our user base, links were a very big hurdle. Users, it's an alien concept for users. They do not click it. They do not even know how links work. The users who know how links work, they do not. So without links, we do not have analytics. So we can send direct media on WhatsApp, but we will not know how much of the content users has listened or not listened. So there is this dilemma between these two on how to use links, or if do we do away with the analytics and find them. Then the third point is almost all of our users appreciate that WhatsApp is a much better experience than IVR because of obvious reasons. But their content consumption is low. And this is because like users educate themselves that WhatsApp is a much weaker nudge than call. If a call is coming, they just pick it up. If a WhatsApp comes, they think, okay, the message is there, they can see it later. When they open the WhatsApp, our message is there along with 5 other messages, which is from their friends and family. So we are competing with them. And even if the user is opening our chat window, it sometimes he says, okay, this is fine, maybe I'll see it later, then that later never comes. So even though WhatsApp is giving much better interface, which users also appreciate, but it is a much weaker nudge and the content consumption is actually lower than the IVR program. And one good thing is more users start giving feedback about the impact because of more reachability and time flexibility. So this number actually went up by a few multiples from our IVR program. And the last learning was user get bored with same kind of messaging. So I saw you one topic selection prompt. If I keep sending that prompt again and again, the weekly active users go down by a lot in just 2 to 3 weeks. So we have to change like messaging and the type of prompts we are sending to keep users engaged. So like there can be different variety of messages. One I showed you which listed 5 different topics, they could select only one. The other kind of messaging that we built is we just give them one topic and tell us yes or no. And if they say no, we just give them another topic and tell us yes or no. So if it's like Tinder for our those things. And then other kind of messaging is very clickbaity that only this free service is left for only 10 more parents. So be fast and select your topic. So like there are these different kinds of messaging that we are using, which helps us to keep users engaged for a longer period of time. So yeah, these were all the major learnings. Just one point to emphasize that this was our pilot and your pilot might look significantly different. Our user base might be significantly different from you. So like you can see these learnings, but this might not be directly applicable to you. So you will have to design your own stuff. That was all.
Thanks, Prateek. I think it gave a really good view of your use case, how specifically you use WhatsApp, and I think it'll give us a good it'll give all the other NGOs also a good idea of what kind of use cases can be run on WhatsApp. And while this is all happening on the WhatsApp end, doing it through a platform is of course essential so that you can manage these conversations, automate a lot of stuff, right? And yeah, I mean, handle it at large scale as well. So moving,
Abhishek,
yeah,
um, can I Sindhuja from Dost here, can I
yes,
quickly step in to answer a couple of questions that were there on this session? So before we move to the glyphic part of it?
yeah,
Yes. So I saw a few questions on the chat part on the language that's available, and also on so I think a lot of the language that you see right now is mostly in Hindi because that's the user base that Dost works with. The Dost program is currently in Hindi and available for the Hindi-speaking states in India, and hence you're seeing the language in Hindi in the screenshot. But I think it's up when Abhishek speaks more on Glyphic. You would see Glyphic supports any language that you want to send on WhatsApp. So that should not be a problem if you are working with other languages within India or outside of India. And there was a second question on the frequency of messages that Dost sends. So for us, after multiple iterations and experiments, one thing that we found out is a weekly frequency to send out the initial message of the menu option that you see on the screenshot. Work the best for us because we also have multiple follow-up steps within this workflow in terms of sending out the content and asking for feedback from users on that. And we found that frequency also gives enough time for a user to work on the topic that they chose that week. So after making experiments, we started with daily content, and then it was just too much, is what we heard through several user interviews, and then moved on to weekly content. So, and just to add to Prateek's point, we are still experimenting a lot with our experience, and this is still not final. There are just a lot of new improvements to do even from here. And the screenshot that you see here is as a result of multiple experimentations after 4 to 5 months. So just wanted to leave that thought there as you are all thinking about how to explore WhatsApp and what it might take to figure out that use case for the audience that you work with. Yeah. Thank you.
thanks, Indija.
Abhishek, over to you. Yeah.
Thanks for answering those questions. Yeah, so let's connect it back with why we have Glyphic. So as you saw, all of these functions program need some sort of communicating and monitoring. And right now, the platforms are not really available to do it online. There are reporting tools which are clunky, and carrying out these operations is not very efficient. It's not intuitive. It's not user friendly. with the solutions that exist today. They're not even cost effective, which is why Glyphic exists today, so that you can manage your conversations with various stakeholders, whether they are beneficiaries or let's say large scale of field staff and other team members. So it removes a lot of inefficiency from the process, a lot of inconvenience. Um, Managing those conversations, running that pilot program, and doing it all manually using WhatsApp for Business, it can be overbearing. So that's why we went ahead with building Glyphic. Now let's have a look at what we've been up to. We are building. So far, we have built a few features. Let's have a look at it and see how it connects back with what Dost is doing, and um, let's look at a few features here.
Hey, welcome to Glyphic demo of version 0.2. The goal of Glyphic is to provide a two-way communication channel between NGOs and their beneficiaries, and for NGOs to handle conversation at scale. In the previous demo, you saw some of the key features like establishing one-to-one conversations via WhatsApp, sending automated and manual messages, setting preferred languages, ability to tag messages, manage tags.
I'll just quickly pause here. We are referring to the version .1 demo here, which is where we showed some of the existing features. So we're just reviewing it, and we'll continue to show the rest of the features.
Ability to save a message as speed sends, and search for conversations. Let's look at the key features that make Glyphic more capable than the first release. Now, you can also use speed sends while drafting a message to a beneficiary. Click on Speed Sends tab in the chat window for any conversations and select one of the Speed Sends messages. You can also try searching for one before sending it. Once it drops into the message input, you can send it as it is or modify it the way you would like. Then just hit enter and click the send button. We had previously saved this message in the Manage Speed Sends section over here. This was all about speed sends. Glyphic now also has a collection of chats over here. This quick filter allows you to narrow down the list of chats as per specific intent. You can view all your unread messages or click on Not Replied to view all the conversations you haven't replied yet. You can click All to go back to all conversations. At this time, this is all, but in the next release, this feature will be more magical because you'll be able to create your own collections based on parameters like conversations that include tags or are in the same part of the group. A whole new powerful feature of version 0.2 is an automated conversation. You can create a chat box-like experience for beneficiaries with an automated message. Let's see how that works. Let's go into the flow for any new beneficiary messaging you for the first time. How we've set it up is that first, a welcome message goes, then language preference is asked, after which a few more questions will be asked for registration details. The flow goes into sending an activity of the day, and at the end, it asks for the feedback, which is already part of the activity flow. If you want to learn how to create a flow, we've added a quick link to the resources down here that will guide you through it. Now let's see the flow in action. The conversation flow begins when a beneficiary sends a message. We've received a hi from an automated message that was sent to the language. The conversation flow begins when a beneficiary sends a message. We've received a hi and an automated message was sent to set the language. Beneficiary selected 2. And now the beneficiary moves into the registration flow where they're asked for their full name. The beneficiary responds with the name and is asked for age. With this, the registration flow ends. The beneficiary now moves into an activity flow where they're asked for their activity preferences. The beneficiary chooses poetry and an activity is sent to the beneficiary. An automated feedback message is sent where they've asked between the two options. Finally, the beneficiary responds with their activity. At this stage, if an automated message isn't set, you can respond with the speed sense, and that completes one conversation flow. Now, let's try tweaking the flow. In the language flow, let's add one more automated message for the case when the user sends an option the system does not recognize. In case the beneficiary sends a message other than English or Hindi, a sorry message will be triggered. Now, going back to the chat, the beneficiary can initiate by sending language. And the beneficiary sends a 3 and now receives a message that we have set. With the proper action, language is now set. These are all the features of version 0.2, but we continue to build it further. We're laying the foundation for features such as staff and group management, HSM template management. And finally, a quick note for the developer community. It is our main goal with this product to also build and sustain an open source community around it. We believe using the best tools within the open source community should help with that endeavor. We also invite the developer community to check out our product and participate in it however they like. These are some of the badges for our backend and our front-end GitHub repositories. Thank you.
All right. So, as you saw, Glyphic as a platform has various features like sending manual and automated messages via WhatsApp. So, Glyphic acts as a platform for your organization to basically plan these conversations, plan these automated conversations, have a dashboard where you can see all of your chats in one go, all of your conversations in one go. You can easily categorize all of the messages by tagging them so that you can review them, you can search for them easily later. You can also save messages in the system so that you don't really have to type in again and again. And some of these features like automation and saving messages allow you to scale the conversation and handle multiple conversations simultaneously and in a large numbers. And you can also assign conversations to team members, which is something that we are building currently, but yes, that feature will be available in .3. So these are some of the features that Glyphic has now and what it allows you to do now. But also in future, we have some of the other goals, like an organization can set goals for conversation. So if you want to achieve a particular goal with the beneficiary or a stakeholder, you can say, okay, this conversation ran, for a while, and then it achieved the goal or it did not. For example, if the goal was to support them through an admission process, then you can mark whether you helped that beneficiary achieve that or not. For example, if it was to give them tips about COVID, then did they take precautions or not? In future, we will also provide support for rich media, so that you can send images, videos, and all of the content through rich media to the beneficiaries. There will be a higher formatting. You can use emojis. You can use some text formatting as well. We will also build reports and analytics into it so that you can see how the content is being consumed, how messages are being read or not read, and what are some of the things that you can do to make your reach better and make your engagement better. In future, we will also be looking at some of the advanced technologies like machine learning and AI to drive some of the features like tagging, so that a lot of the portion of Glyphic is happening at automated, and NGOs mostly decide how the conversations will happen, and they can do the manual, the planning part. And similarly, there will be greater automations with tagging, with messages, with workflows you can build into it. So this is how we are planning. This is how Glyphic looks right now, and what the plan for us in future is. Just to summarize a bit about the features, how Glyphic enables NGOs is again to it enables you to communicate with thousands of your users in an intuitive manner. You can share tailored content. You can also personalize conversations one to one. You can build chatbots. You can do manual messaging, and you can do automated messaging. It is a reasonably priced software, especially because we're building it open source. So that part, and yeah, it can also be customized for a specific NGO if they want to utilize some of the basic features that Glyphic offers. But on top of it, if there are more things that you'd like it to do specific to your NGO, then that will also be available through development services. Moving on, these are some of the numbers, some of the funding requirements. How, since we're building it open source, and Tech for Dev is mainly funding it along with the development partners. These are some of the numbers on what it requires for us to build the version .1. Lobo, do you have anything you want to highlight here, or should we just share it in with the slide? And
We should just share it later on.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So where we are currently, we've so far built version .1, .2. We've released these two. We're currently building .3, which will be available towards the end of the month, starting off September. The team comprises of two development teams building it along with Tech for Dev. So we've also started a pilot program with an NGO based in Delhi called Slam Out Loud, and they have been employing their workflows and use cases with Glyphic. We also have a group of interns from UC Berkeley who have been designing and developing it with us. And this is how the current development scene looks like. Next up, we have how an NGO can prepare for Glyphic. So before starting with Glyphic, it will be really great. And those sort of gave us a precursor, and they told us how we can do that. But running a few pilot programs with, let's say, your personal phone numbers or organization phone numbers, WhatsApp for business, accounts, you can run a pilot program. The user base could be 20 to 30, but it could also be larger, and it just gets more fine-tuned as you involve more users into it. So running a pilot program is really great to find a match with Glyphic and to make it really effective. How to do that is also by creating a conversation flow while thinking that you're communicating with thousands of NGOs, so that you can generalize the use case and bring a reflection of scale into that pilot program. It is also very essential for NGO starting with Glyphic or WhatsApp communication to solve out the part of the process, like how everything will run. And let's take a look at the example of how Slam Out Loud did it. So they started their pilot program by creating a communication flow. For example, the first step was where students sign up. So once they sign up, what happens? The user says, the user messages, and what does the bot do? Which is the part which is handled on Glyphic. And the conversation flows. So what does the user say next? And we anticipate their response based on the options we give. And we plan what are the responses that we want to send through Glyphic. This way, a complete conversation is put in place, and a prototype or a pilot, conversation process is sort of defined. And this helped a lot in having the clarity of this, and running it before using Glyphic. It gave a lot of insight into how we can fine tune it and make it better. So these are some of the steps that are required to begin Glyphic. But if which okay, so next up for is understanding what WhatsApp for Business API is and how it is different from WhatsApp for Business. So WhatsApp for Business API was launched by WhatsApp, 6 months to a year back. Some of the not so good features about WhatsApp for Business API is that, and these features get carried over with Glyphic, is that you cannot really use group conversations. All the conversations are one to one. People can't interact with each other. You are the owner or you are the manager of all the conversations. Then there is also 24-hour window, which opens when user messages first. So when your beneficiary says a hi, that 24-hour message window opens and you sort of have 24 hours to respond back. If you miss that window, then the conversation sort of ends. But we are building ways to make this better, to best utilize this window, and so that it becomes an opportunity rather than a con of the platform. Then it's WhatsApp for Business API is not really a great way to collect structured data because they can be a contextual problem. For example, if you ask them for name and if they don't have a clear answer, and contextually they may end up saying something else. Just how the message is structured depending on that. And WhatsApp for Business API incurs cost for each message that you're sending out. Then again, with the template messages also, it costs you, each time you send a message. Some of the pros, however, with WhatsApp is that you can send a message to a large scale audience. You can send rich media content with images, with emojis, with text formatting. And think of how the government of India did it during COVID, right? We saw their campaign all over and it was quite informative and engaging. The same can happen and same can be done by all of us using Glyphic. It is also a channel to send and receive a response, which means that you have a two-way communication. Like Prateek pointed out, IVR has one-way communication, but with WhatsApp, you can also receive messages from beneficiaries, which allows you to, help much, which allows you to tailor the content and be much more effective in the help you're providing. While I said that you have a 24-hour message window, WhatsApp for Business API also allows you to let your users opt into your number, which means they're particularly saying that they're interested in your content and they're interested in engaging with your material. So that 24-hour window is not limited. In that case, you have more liberty to message them using template messages, which of course gets approved by WhatsApp, but then you have a bigger window to communicate with your beneficiaries. While I also mentioned in cons that it's not a very good way to capture data, but we are finding ways to make it happen so that at some level it can be data can be collected. Google Forms can be used during conversation to collect data as well. Especially because during a lot of our conversations with NGOs, we figure out that data collection is an important part of the activity. So we have been finding ways to include it, and we'll be refining it a lot more as we go along. Please feel free to drop all of your questions regarding WhatsApp for Business API or anything that we discussed about preparedness in the comment section, and we will take it up towards the end. Now we are also, having said this, we're also looking for NGOs to pilot with us. It'll be really great if the NGOs have already used some communication platform like IVR, SMS, or WhatsApp, because then that allows the NGOs to prepare that pilot through that communication thing way more easily and way more structured. So it's much less figuring out, which is why it'll be great if organizations, NGOs have already used the platform, or if they have run some pilot, created some processes or patterns in their conversation, which will be a really great start if NGOs are looking, to pilot with Glyphic and use it for their organization. And we'll be really happy to, receive nominations for using Glyphic. Um, and one way to do it, of course, to write to us at any of these email IDs, or just reach out to us, and we'll be happy to hear from you for piloting Glyphic. That was all we wanted to cover, and I believe we also tried to do it in time, and we can now open the stage for all the questions. Lobo, do you have any final comments before we open to comments?
Abhishek,
Questions?
I'll throw a few questions to you, and can you answer them?
Yeah.
Can you talk a wee bit about pricing and how the model is?
Yeah. So for initial members, the pricing primarily comprises of how it's structured. It is we have the hosting and setup charges. Then we also have messaging, and which is more like a monthly ongoing charge. So as per our initial costing, it comes out to be about let's say 6,500 rupees per month for an NGO, which contains which mainly comprises of setup and hosting charges. And then added to that, there will be cost of WhatsApp, which is per message cost, which costs about 35 paisa per message. And if you use it, if you use, let's say, 5,000 messages over a month, then it just comes out to be about 1,700 plus on top of that. So yeah, a total cost of about 10,000 will be a good sufficient budget to use Glyphic. And just to see it in a different way, it is, if you're catering to, let's say, 10,000 10,000 or 1,000 beneficiaries, then it comes out to be about 10 rupees per beneficiary for a month. Does that answer the question, Lobo, or is there something else you would like to add to this?
No, that's good enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a question. No, sorry, I joined a little late, but I had a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So just one quick question. Is there, like, does the WhatsApp API allow us to ingest things like images people post and archive them in a database in any which way?
Yes, Akshay, it does. Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Means you can get the images. WhatsApp keeps it on their servers for 7 days.
Yeah.
So you've got to download it and archive it before they delete it off.
But it can be done automatically, right? Theoretically,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sindhuja, do you want to talk a wee bit about tracking and analytics?
Yes, definitely. So there was a question about how those tracks engagement, or generally how to track engagement when you're building on WhatsApp. So one thing I would want to preface with is it definitely depends on your use case and what your goals are for the use case that you're building. So I can cite the example of those and what we were looking at. So as Pratik pointed out, some of the metrics that we were looking at was how many users were signing up for our WhatsApp experience, how many people were choosing topics that we were giving them on the menu, the topic selection menu for parents that we would give. The third one was, were people even listening to the content that we provided when they selected a topic? And the last one was, did they respond? Did they give us any feedback on if they did the activity with their children based on the recommendations we provided in the content? So as you can see, all these metrics are very specific to those use case. And in terms of how we actually started looking at the analytics is, so we have, so for every message that comes through this platform, there is a webhook that we can attach to it. And we store all these messages on a database. And from there we get links. So there is going to be documentation that's going to be sent out at the end of it, where you'll have details on WhatsApp API responses that's come out. So based from there, we just got these 4 metrics for us, starting from number of users to if people responded to different stages in this funnel that I just spoke about. Yeah. So the way those did that was storing it on a Postgres database and then hooking it up with a BI tool that we use.
And just one point for the content consumption metric. So we were sending them links, YouTube links. So when they went to the YouTube video, we knew how much people are listening and how many times are they listening. So that is how we got that. And now we are setting it up on our own website using Google Analytics. So like you can track the content consumption part from YouTube or Google Analytics. So
Yeah.
Abhishek, can you talk a wee bit about the SaaS offering from Colored Cow and the open source option?
Yeah, so SaaS option will be, so what we'll do is we'll open the platform to requests, like once we host Glyphic, and if there are more feature requests, we'll take specific requests from NGOs, and we'll figure out a costing for that as well. Since we'll be developing it specifically for NGOs, we will there will be an added cost to that NGO, or there could also be another way that if that feature is really relevant and great for all the NGOs, then we'll try to include it into the platform and make it happen for everyone. But that costing will be separate, and we can share it, further in further conversations. Yeah, is that helpful, or any follow-up questions on that?
Yeah, that would be great. Cool. Let's see. Any other questions? Have I missed any of the questions that came on the chat? I'm sorry. I think I got most of them. If you have any other questions, feel free to jump in and unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah.
Kurun, am I missing any questions?
No, I think we covered most of it.
Abhishek, can you talk a wee bit on the various business service providers for WhatsApp out there, like that ecosystem? Because I think people kind of might be a bit confused on that. I mean, where does Glyphic sit and between WhatsApp and the BSP? Like the three people in the three partners in the whole pipeline.
Yeah, right. So we have partnered with Gupshup. So WhatsApp for Business. So Gupshup is the service provider for WhatsApp for Business API, and we have been employing Gupshup to run this. So there is if you want to pilot with Glyphic, you will first have to create an account on Gupshup, and then the same will be we can hook it up with Gupshup, and all the messages will go through that medium. So there's WhatsApp for Business API, there's Gupshup, and there's Glyphic. It interacts between these three entities. But having said that, the Gupshup medium is really small, and it doesn't really need to it doesn't really bother come in between your experience of using Glyphic, because it's a one-time setup, and it's a very simple process to begin. Anything else you would like to add, Lobo?
No, I'm fine there, Abhishek. Thanks. Let's see. Cool. Any other questions?
From what I understand about Glyphic, it's not really necessarily the most useful for a campaigning NGO, because at this point it really doesn't allow me the thing that Turn allows me, which is just basically collections, right? And even collections on Turn is difficult because it doesn't. You still have to go through the manual labeling of every single message that comes in, and sort of like then put it into like other campaigners' names, so then people can answer their own queries or like whatever queries come in about their specific campaigns. So this way, I see Glyphic being at a very rudimentary stage for me in my NGO, and I don't like. I want to know then like when can I expect to like come back to this conversation with Glyphic having more to offer, and like for us to like what are the timelines in terms of like what you want to launch and what features are most important.
Yeah. Right. So when you mentioned collections, what exactly the feature? I mean, you're thinking how would you like to basically use it?
So for us, like in one way, it would be really helpful to have like if geographically there was something back, because we send out messages to specific lists. We have a Bangalore list, a Mumbai list. So when these people reply from the messages, like choose to opt in, right? For that to have automatically
Yeah.
be categorized into any sort of list form in
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what.
Okay. Okay. So you're right. We are. It's in version .3, so it is a bit rudimentary at this stage. Um, I mean, the features that you're mentioning, it's a part of it is something we're building in Glyphic as collections, where it gives you much more greater customization and handle on how you want to create those collections, like include tags. It's assigned to a group or not. So those kinds of customizations. But having heard something about geographical, this thing we can also look into how we can include that and plan this out into our development process. On coming back, I think Lobo, do you have any thoughts on when we can um, what would be a good time
So,
frame? Yeah.
so just to add what Abhishek said is typically a lot of your in your use case, right? Typically NGOs, what they do is they have a different WhatsApp number usually, and they circulate it in various different areas accordingly, and that's the way they segregate. Like if you are working in the northern region, then we'll have a certain set of a number, and south region then another set of number. So that way your beneficiaries and all are kind of segregated based on your WhatsApp business account. That's just something that people are doing. Just want to put it out there.
And the other thing is, since Glyphic will allow you, does allow you to collect information and gather information on a contact. If you use location, like if you use geographic area as a field in your contact, so basically west east, then you can do a search with regard to that profile field, and all that stuff should be coming in point 4 or so, right? So the main thing is what we're trying to do is allow people to collect information on the contacts, so then you can kind of separate them based on the information that they've submitted, which in turn allows you to dissect your database using geography or any other metric that's relevant to your organization, and then target them and send them messages assuming you have opt-in from them.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Good.
Yeah, Abhishek,
Any-
so,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
hi, Abhishek Arun here from Educate Girls. What is the plan for SMS and IVR integration? Is there any timelines, any thought on that direction?
No, Arun. Currently, SMS and IVR have not been thought of for Glyphic, because we have primarily kept it, building on top of WhatsApp. So it utilizes, WhatsApp. So there are no current plans in, to include SMS or IVR.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Arun, we might use SMS as a fallback channel for nudges and everything, but we don't anticipate using SMS as a primary channel.
Yeah, sure. So in rural areas, so there is a good presence of a feature phone wherein people are not still using smartphones. And I'm talking about the parents of rural government school children. So to set up a sort of communication with them, so that we are interacting with them and they are participating in the program. So not content sharing, but in some way. So that is what I was just trying to understand if there is any plan for that.
No,
Got
there isn't, but yeah, but you might want to look into Rapid Pro, which has pretty good SMS integration.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Anjali, with regard to your question, how does someone migrate? I think it's a bit too early for us to think about that right now. I think we'll start thinking about it from point 4 or point 5. With regard to existing phone numbers, we'll start having conversations with Gupshup as to what they can do with regard to existing phone numbers. So to a large extent, we don't know the answer to that question. Sorry about that. Cool. Any other last minute questions? Great. Thanks everyone for attending this call. We hope it was as useful to you as it was to us. We will send you a follow-up email with regard to the recording of this and the slides and some other questions with regard to pricing, etc. And we'll stay in touch. We hope to do a webinar on a monthly basis and show you our progress and show you how we've advanced and addressed and tackled some of the things you've raised out here. Abhishek, Kurun, anything else to add?
No, nothing at the moment. We'll stay connected.